Happy New Year. 2024 concluded our second great year as investors. However, this year was different because the financial landscape shifted from broad-based rallies to a more selective and discerning market environment, leaving us in what I call a trader's market. The biggest story last quarter had to do with the election of Donald Trump to the White House and a narrative that he would ease regulation and stimulate growth in line with certain industries. However, campaign promises are cheap and it's a little bit harder to execute. Major tax cut extensions could be hard to pass given the dire state of US finances. There are other policies where he might be politically constrained. We saw when he tried to increase the debt ceiling, he had trouble passing it through because there are tight margins in the House right now, even though the Republicans are in the majority. Looking forward, what does the market hold? We noticed each quarter last year, the return to the S&P 500 was lower than the prior quarter. So what does that mean for 2025? When we think about the ways of valuing stocks, there are a few things that come to mind. One is when we look at the trend using price earnings ratios. Right now, the forward PE ratio looks to give us returns that are going to be in the single digit range. The other pressure that's going to be on the market comes from the bond market and specifically inflation. Inflation is a direct increaser or raiser of bond yields or interest rates. If you think about Trump's policies, if you're trying to reduce the labor market by deporting people against a tight labor market, that's going to cause labor inflation. If we already are somewhat supply constrained, but you're going to impose tariffs, then guess what? The prices of products will rise. And then, of course, if you reduce taxes, that's going to increase the amount of money in the economy for people to spend, which is also inflationary. So the push from the bond market towards higher rates could have an impact on the market and could also make it a little bit more difficult for Trump to execute on the agenda that he outlined. We also want to remind you that you can look at your portfolio in the Camelota app and find all sorts of interesting tidbits. Not only can you run a report exactly like your quarterly report for any time period you want, you can gain other insights into your drawdown and things like that. We are very pleased to present last year's results. And as always, we invite your questions or comments, and I wish you a very happy new year.